Hey guys, what's up? This video is going to be a little bit different than what I normally put out, because focusing on like too many things, I forget where I'm at and then I skip over things, so I don't want to do that. Instead, well, I'd like to talk about actual real life. I know, crazy, because mainly I do video games, right? I mean, I do my best to just do video games. Especially, I try to stay out of, like, real life shit that's going on. Not because I don't pay attention to it. I think all of us pay attention to it, right? I mean, how can we not? We're on YouTube. We see these videos. Like, all kinds. Look, I'm 48 years old, and I never thought when I was younger, when I signed up for the military, I never really thought that one day we would be in a country where we're fighting the very same disease that has destroyed and killed millions of people, has destroyed all kinds of countries and led to the mass slaughter of so many countries. And under the same narcissistic idea that I could do anything, you could do better, that kind of shit, right? And that's where we're at right now, guys. I mean, right now in New York, we have a straight communist running for office. And I get it, this isn't a video game, but just hear me out. And then give me your views in the comment section. If it's, I'll go back to my wheelhouse with this stuff. Actually, my wheelhouse is more political. I just keep it out of this stuff. But mainly I post this stuff this is my own personal channel. And if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. I mean, I think it's important that we all start talking now, though. Especially because of where we're at. The government shut down. I know what it's like to be a soldier and to, because there's been other shutdowns before, government shutdowns, and the idea that Senate, and really it's mainly Senate, that they would still be getting paid while the troops aren't, who are out there defending. And it's not just troops, it's like first responders, emergency workers, aid givers and stuff like that, over an attempt by the Democrat Party to extort America is just insane to me. I mean, I cannot believe that's where we're at. And yeah, look, again, I don't usually like to involve my personal beliefs in this stuff, but man, how long should we shut up? I mean, how long should we keep quiet? I'm a Generation X, okay? And, I saw these videos for a long time, and they're still out there, you can look them up, where it's like, oh, Gen X is speaking up now. No, they're not. Most of the time, Gen X, we don't really go out like that, because we're more the kind you catch us in the backyard, right? I mean, that's when I grew up, we had a buddy's house, my buddy Aaron May, that's where you went to solve your problems at school, in the backyard, you know what I mean? And once that problem was solved, it was over. A lot of times you get picked up, they would shake your hand. I mean, people had honor back then. Remember, I was just talking about this in a video for Arc Raiders, and I stand firmly on what I said with Arc Raiders. I'm not going to change my mind, even if it is a success. I mean, it probably will be for a little bit. I mean, the hype machine out there, you can look. There's ways you can look on your video and you can see what kind of hype you're getting. That's how many people out there, like, pushing your content out. And mine's like 0. It's 0%. And I can tell you why, because of the comments that I make, okay? And all of it affects your channel. All of it. I don't have to say this stuff on my YouTube channel, for it to affect my view, how many views I get and how many people get to see my content. I mean, on the 75th channel, I'm not going to post any content like this. On my channel, though, I am. And I'll tell you why. Because I was really praying on it the other day, and thinking to myself, like probably a lot of people are, in my opinion, like, what can I do? I mean, we're told so often, like, what can you do? Against something this big. Well, sitting there quietly ain't good. That's definitely not the road to take. And I don't have a huge amount of views, but people do watch me, and I've noticed the ticker count going up as long as I put out content. Thank you, by the way. Everybody who views my content, anybody, you talk to anybody that who's viewed my content, I usually try to answer their comments, even if it's negative. You know, I mean, if you come at me like that, I'm gonna come at you like that, right? I don't make anything off of this. I'm just doing this for my own benefit, okay? Well, and the benefit of my community members usually. Today, this is me. This is on my channel, okay? What are we doing? Like, what's going on in this country right now? I don't believe that Mamdani is being voted in by Americans. I don't. I mean, maybe, I'm sure there's lunatics out there, and you know the type. You know, the ones that are out there running around naked at these stupid rallies that are ugly as sin. I mean, just them getting naked, you know what I mean, is like a torture. It's a punishment to us, and they know it. Because we got to see, you know, all 500 rolls of their jelly flop out. You know, I mean, I was watching a protest, I think, like 2 or 3 years ago. It was during a BLM nonsense. When, oh, what was it? Yeah, again, you have freaks running around naked and stuff like that. Dudes running around with no clothes on. In front of kids, man. In front of kids. What happened to America? What happened to Americans? I mean, sure, I can put a lot of that on illegals. I firmly believe that. In the last 4 years, like, it's insane to me how many people they let in this country without any thought at all to what it would do to us. Okay? Because around the world, man, people always hate the top dog. You know what I mean? They always want to attack the top dog. So why would you leave your borders open? They did that on purpose. They paid with our money to these illegals, and I think there's a very nefarious purpose there, because those illegals are now dependent on the government, or they were until they were cut off, thank God. But now the Democrats are saying, you know what? You are not going to eat unless they eat. Who are they representing again? I mean, Ilhan Omar, she doesn't rep Americans. She represents, and she said it herself, Somalia first. I mean, who's voting these people in? Again, I cannot believe for the life of me that Democrats, that there are people out there in the Democrat Party. I mean, sure, there's like 20 or 30% of people, I would assume, that are just brain dead, right? They just listen to what other people say and then they repeat it. Usually they get financial incentive for it. You know what I mean? And look, I'm on disability. I'm a disabled veteran. I've said that. I'm open about it. I'm not proud of it. I'm trying to find a way out of it doing what I'm doing right now. You know, like, I'm not saying I want to be rich, because you can't get rich doing this stuff. I mean, I'm a nobody. Like I said, I'm not endorsed or backed by anybody. I'm coming from the ground up, boys. The ground. I mean, like, under the ground, really. Underneath the floorboards. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping that there's enough people out there who see what I'm trying to do and what I'm saying, that they're going to back me enough to, you know, support my content. But if not, then not. I mean, I'll tell you one thing right now. I don't care if I didn't get another penny. I would not bend to the extortion of these fucking commies. Never. I wouldn't do it. And neither should you. They don't care about you. I mean, they go out there putting on these big stage shows where they're supporting that Mamdani moron, you know? Like, what? There's so many ways I could go at that. For one, the guy's a Muslim, and I'm not against, like, converted Muslims, okay? But look, man, real life Muslims, they don't like us in America, okay? They don't like, I don't even understand women who support me. Yo, if you were there, you would be wearing a burqa, okay? And you'd be in the kitchen, whether you wanted to be or not. The only reason women are not like that in America is because of the men of this country who have been systematically put down for the last, like, I would say, hell, 20 years. I mean, it's just gotten really vicious in the last, 5 years, because they had that moron Biden in there and all that. But and no, I know how I'm going to sound partisan, because, like, right-leaning, or I am right-leaning, but I'm not, like, full on, like, a Trump fanatic or anything like that. There's a lot of things he's doing I disagree with. You know, like, mainly, why hasn't he declared an insurrection yet? I mean, these people are flat out calling for the deaths of agents. Does anybody really believe that they want to track where these agents are just to identify who they are? And why do you think that they want to identify them? Huh? Because after they're committing horrible crimes against what? Non-citizens? People that aren't even supposed to be here in the first place? Well, look, man, I guess I'm going to go a little bit harder than they do. We shouldn't give them a free ride home. We should put them to work. I mean, if that's... I don't know what to say. They come over here. I remember like a few years ago, there were immigrants at the hotels in New York complaining about food that any American would be ecstatic to get. And they're complaining about it because it doesn't fit their cultural cuisine. I mean, even Mom Donnie's eating with his fucking hands. That's nasty, by the way. That's how you spread disease. Like, look, bro, you're not in a third world nation, Uganda anymore. You're here in America. We don't want all the diseases you guys got over here. So how about this? Grab that thing called a fork, or they got this great invention called a spork. Yeah, a spoon and a fork, right? I mean, America's crazy. Grab that and eat it with that. Why? We got a man who doesn't even know how to eat with kitchen utensils, and people, who's voting for him? If you're voting for him, comment and please comment and let me know. What are your reasons for voting for him? I mean, see, I would handle things differently, and people might hate me after this, but look, I'm going to be honest with you. This is how I would do it, okay? If you're a communist, you cannot run for government at all. Just because we're an open, free country doesn't mean we need to let our enemies in and give them access to all the power in this country. Could you imagine America? Just for a second, imagine America as a communist nation. All the power we have. There is no nation on this planet that could stand us, okay? Imagine what they would do worldwide and to us at home. Imagine it for a second. Imagine the hell on earth they would create. I mean, guys, we are the residents of the most powerful nation in the world. Your forefathers, I'm not talking to illegal immigrants and all that. Legal immigrants, you're cool. But all you illegals that came over here, you didn't help build this country. Just stop. Okay? Just putting something into history doesn't make it true. I mean, and it's not, by the way. Historically, Americans, it was what, the Irish or the Scottish, who really built America. Who put a lot of effort into it. But still, Americans built America. I mean, flat out. I mean, from England, they came over, and sure, I guess you could say we colonized. We took it from the American Indians. Okay, American Indians, I say, not native, because we're natives. Americans are natives. It doesn't matter at this point. We're all natives, okay? Not illegals. Us Americans, we're natives. Our forefathers fought for that, and they did hell on earth. I mean, back then, natives were still blowing... They were killing each other. I mean, I don't know what this idea is with Thanksgiving. The Native Americans weren't, like, slaughtering each other and taking prisoners doing it. They were. I mean, you should really look into the Comanche. No doubt. I mean, all the other nations, Indian nations out there... The biggest difference was that it was Europeans coming over here, and I don't believe the Europeans came over to kill every native over here. That isn't how it worked. If they took over a nation, they tried to preserve the populace, because a country without no population, you know, you can't make money off of that. You can't make taxes. You can't build off of something if there ain't nobody there. Now, it happened to be that our forefathers were made of something sterner. So when they came over here, they built the country up, you know, and that's where we get where we are today. I mean, there is no other way. It didn't happen no other way. And I challenge anybody, you know, tell me, you really think that non-Americans, like not the settlers, after the American nation was formed, it was other countries and other peoples that came over here? The Somalis, like, really just took a jet over here and built houses and shit for us? Man, get out of here. But who's voting them in? What American thinks that it's better that you know, that somebody from Somalia come over here and put Somalis first and represent them? Now, I know the idea before was like a globalist whatever. And video games were doing that shit too. I mean, look, video games sadly have been used to brainwash a lot of people. I mean, that's why we're all getting disgusted by the content that's in most video games. We get overhyped about video games coming out and we find out they're garbage. You know what I mean? That's why. Because they knew that we were using games to escape the insanity out there, and so they attacked it. They went after it. They went after video games. They put their sick shit in there. I mean, everything from gay love to, animal. I mean, look at Baldur's Gate 3. As much as I enjoy most of that game, okay, like the fact that you can be a vampire having sex with a bear is just disgusting. Look, man, guys. That's not cool. I don't care how you bend it. That should not be in a game. Our kids watch and play that stuff. You know what I mean? And it's making it okay. You have to agree with me on that. If you're a parent, especially, I mean, I don't want my children playing that garbage. You know what I mean? If my kid came up that and asked me to play Baldur's Gate, I'd say no, flat out no. I mean, because we watched the people getting turned. I mean, more and more people are turning gay. Not because they were just, I'm not scared anymore to come out and say it. When were gays scared in America? I mean, where were gays being mass murdered in America? Because I wasn't alive for that. I must have missed that. Americans mainly say this. You know what, bro? I don't care. What you do at home that's you. Just don't bring it to me. The problem is they didn't uphold their end of the bargain. You know what I mean? They broke their end of the bargain. And they wanted to spread their mental illness to everybody else. And yes, I'm going on illness. I mean, because that's what it is. You cannot reproduce unless you're trying to have babies. You know what I mean? And look, man, I don't hate anybody. It's just, I think most people would probably agree with me in this and saying that, some things we can ignore and other things we cannot ignore. And I think that idea, it got us in that mode of ignoring really bad shit, right? Like, we're like, all right, we know that that's bad. It's a mental sickness. You know what I mean? Like the tranny movement, which, oh my God, they convinced a bunch of people to cut off their. I mean, the one thing you never think a man would do, they convince men to do. Not all men, because there are obviously men who abuse that system and then went out just to get, like they do in video games, like, cheaters. You know what I mean? They think they deserve to cheat, for whatever reason. It's ridiculous. But, I was really thinking about the channel and, like, what I would do, what I would say if I had some kind of platform to say it. And it wouldn't always be about political. Look, I'm being pushed in this corner because I'm watching the country deteriorate right now. I'm watching Democrats hold the entire American population hostage because they want $1.5 trillion, And people can get on here and argue and say, oh, it's not for illegals. Yeah, actually it is. There's a good bit of it that is. And then there's other ones that fund, like, their stupid NGOs, which we don't know where that money goes to afterwards. How do you think these Antifa clowns get all that money? How do you think they get all that money? It's coming from the Democrat Party, I'm telling you. One mistake we made after the Civil War is that we allowed the Democrat Party to come back into existence. And I get why, right? Because our system relies on kind of like a two-party system, always going at heads to come out with the best odds, debating. Well, one of those sides, they're not debating anymore. Matter of fact, worse than that, they're lying. Flat out. They're telling everybody lies. Okay? They're lying to everybody. They're saying that they're out for America. Every time I hear a Democrat say, oh, we gotta make sure Americans, I feel like saying, bro, get my name out your fucking mouth. Get my name out of your mouth. Because they don't mean that at all. If they meant that, they'd be worried about women and kids who don't have money. They'd be worried about disabled veterans and the disabled in general, making sure that they get fed, and just passing something they passed like a bajillion times before. But I'm not just going to leave a spanking for them. What's going on with Trump? I mean, I'm not saying he's done a lot of great things for this nation. He's brought us back. But what happens after him, for one thing, that's what scares me more than anything. If people don't start standing up now, then what happens when Trump's no longer here anymore? But remember him saying, well, I'm standing between you and them. Well, we're dying. I mean, we're the ones dying, Americans are, to these idiotic demon rat ideas, you know, and these Antifa groups. And then we watch it all the time on YouTube, where they're out there rioting and protesting, acting like fools, and then they kill someone, and Trump does nothing. You know, that Brandon Johnson comes out and says that federal troops will be arrested, or ICE agents, which, by the way, ICE agents are doing their government mandated job. Okay, the Democrats know it before. Democrats need to vote from the illegals. I mean, all these drivers from, like, remember not that long ago, the first Sing Indian dude, it's not funny actually, but he made a U-turn in the middle of a highway and killed a family of 3. I mean, he saw the truck coming in at him. He didn't freak out. He didn't, like, try to go straight. He didn't do nothing. He just sat there and watched it happen. And then another thing, not that long ago, was drunk, because they have no respect for you. Okay, as Americans and everything you've done for them, they have no respect for you at all. He was driving down the highway. He didn't even hit the brakes, man. Ran into 2 cars, were flattened, a truck and an SUV, again, with a beautiful family in it. I mean, guys, I know we go into video games to get away from this stuff, but, you know, sometimes going into the video game, by doing that, you're allowing, what is that saying? When good men do nothing, tyranny follows. You know, when evils abound and good men don't fight back, that's when tyranny, that's when evil things happen, and that's what's going on right now. I mean, I want to forget about it too. I do. I don't want to talk about this shit on my channel. I want to focus on great games. You know what I mean? I don't want to think about all the things that they could do to me. You know, and you know how it is. I mean, besides, my channel already gets oppressed because of the comments I leave. But, I mean, like, is it just me? Is it just in my head that I'm sitting here like, what the fuck, man? What is going on? Why hasn't Trump declared an insurrection at this point? All the people that have died. I mean, Charlie Kirk shot in the neck, then people at the rally, like, putting their fingers at their neck and doing a click to, like, to mock Charlie Kirk being shot, man. That ended any kind of unity that there's ever going to be between me and those people. Like, I won't forget it, okay? I've lived my entire life that way. I will never, ever forget it. Watching these freaks and fools out there mocking somebody being shot, but then God knows a black man gets arrested somewhere because of something he did, and next thing you know, like Carmelo Anthony, for instance, look how much money they raised for him just because they killed a white guy. That's sick, guys. I mean, and I'm not saying it's all black people. I'm not saying that at all. I got a ton of black friends, you know. I got, in general, and I know, oh, it's a black friend thing. Yeah, I don't give a shit, bro. I do have those friends, okay? And they're very much, they agree with me on stuff. I mean, they disagree with me on other things, and it's always going to come down to bias, you know, like, at the end of the day, you are, and I'm trying to keep my bias out of it being a white Christian, okay? But it's hard to do that when I look at the stats. I mean, they're not lying. So, either way, the purpose isn't to throw blame on any Americans. It's to tell all of you Americans. I'm not talking about the illegals thinking that they're Americans, because they're not. They are not Americans, okay? Americans didn't come over here. As much as Democrat Party wants you to believe that we came over here and stole this land, we took this land, okay? There's a big difference. And natives were taking it before that. Before we ever got here. Every nation came from people that conquered other nations. That's just how it is, boys. That's how it goes. You know that as well as I do. We're warriors, you know what I mean? So, where do we go from here? What do we do? I mean, we're watching our government gridlocked, and not because, in my opinion, the Republican side isn't doing their job. It's because Democrats. And Democrats, I don't understand. If somebody's in a if somebody's a politician, how in all, if they're lying like in public on a mic that can be played back and over again, how are they still in office? That should be a reason for them to be thrown out of office immediately. You know what I mean? That should be written into the rules. If you're a liar, you should not hold office. Why? Because they have a lot of control over our finances. You know what I mean? And I just don't understand Americans that would vote people in that are going to fundamentally destroy their lives. Please explain that to me. And it's only ever in these states that are filled with these illegals. You know? I mean, that's the truth of it. And none of us should be scared in silence, and that's really why I'm doing this. I mean, I'll probably get no views on it and all that. And it is what it is. It all depends on the title and all that stuff and how I describe it, and then if people are willing to listen to me when I talk. I mean, I'm not throwing charts up. I'm looking at a screen here with my mech on it, but I'm just talking to you as somebody who makes videos every day on video games. I try to stay inside the video game realm, and I play video games every day. It's the only way to control my anxiety and PTSD, to be flat with you. So, I try to do the same thing for the people that are in my community and my friends. Like if they have this stuff, maybe that'll settle them down at home. They're going through a really dark period. They can't catch their breath. I mean, somebody made a comment to me about controlling my breathing. Man, I wish I could, bro. I wish I could. I wish that my brain wasn't so messed up from PTSD and anxiety that I wish I could, but I can't. So, but either way, the mic picks it up sometimes, and I don't know about, don't breathe. I guess that's how you fix it. I got a $40 headset, guys. Just saying. I mean, sometimes it works great, other times it don't. I wrestled a lot trying to get all those situations fixed on this channel. But what I want to do is I want to be real with you guys. I was thinking about this last night and a few nights ago and stuff. When I made the 75th Discord, against the advice of so many techs that were in the 75th and just people in general, which kept our popularity down. It kept our member roster down too. I chose to keep our Discord locked. And they couldn't understand why. It's because I wanted people to have a place to go that they could talk without being harassed. I wanted to hear their opinion, what people had to say. Because it matters to me. I will go out of my way for somebody if I'm able to. I will. And I've done it, and I'll do it again. And our community members have done the same thing. They have went out of their way for other people. And I'm not saying they share these views at all, so it's not about that. I'm saying, we got all types in the 75th. It's not about that. And some of them might hate me after this video. I don't know, man. The only thing I do know is this. We have to stop being quiet. We have to start standing up. I know as Republicans, no, not Republicans, conservatives, we're more quiet, working. I'm grateful with what I got in my life, to be honest with you. And if I have to starve, to get a win for the people that are out there making it possible for me to live every day, then I'll starve. Happily, I'll starve with a smile on my face. But one thing I won't do is sell out to some immigrants coming over here that aren't here to, for the American dream. They're here to suck any wealth they can out of you. Mom Donnie is saying, I remember on one of his comments, he had said that he wants to tax rich white people to give that money. And then there's rich white people in New York that are voting for it. Like, what? And the Democrat Party has no legs to stand on when they're talking about rich people, because they are the party of the rich. Like the filthy rich. Kamala Harris, she ran $1 billion. $1 billion, guys. $1 billion with a B. Bravo with a B. That's crazy. She did everything she could, and still America rejected her. And it wasn't because of the color of her skin. She's not African American, by the way, but I don't give a shit to get into that. It doesn't matter. Her skin color didn't matter. It was her lunatic policies and the fact that most of the time she looked like she was drunk. Flat out. She looked like she was walking around drunk. And but now these same people are getting radical, okay? there was a rally last night, I guess, and while Americans are at fear of starving, Democrats are out partying. They're having Mamdani rallies, this freaking commie in New York. And he's a Muslim commie on top of it, so he's probably way worse than that. And no, he was not born in America. He was born in Uganda. God, I don't know why these people got to make shit up. He's a dual citizen in America. They should not be able to run for office, period. They shouldn't be able to. I mean, they're not just loyal to America, and I would say his loyalty isn't to America first. Not when he's coming over here and stealing from us. And then where do you think that money's going to go? Right back to Uganda. You know what I mean? Guys, we've... The only thing that I can think that happened is that... And I've talked to a lot of people about this. Some I get some pretty surprising answers out of. Like, I asked a guy one time, one of my black friends, I said, do you think that Americans, white people should be able to have pride? And he said no. And I said, why? Well, I don't know. It's just bad, white pride. And I said, no, it's a name that makes you scared, white pride, right? But why? Why does it make you scared? I mean, nobody's being hung out there that's black right now. I mean, most white people in this country, in my opinion, are pussified. I mean, not pussified like, oh, we won't fight. Like, they're doing their day-to-day. They're not out there carrying an axe like they, like our forefathers did and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They're more civilized. They follow the laws of the land. They want the country to get better. They want to build it up. And then there's lunatics out there who we all know very well. They don't get the attention they want. They don't get the girlfriend they want. So they do sick shit to try to justify why they don't get that. And they want that popularity. They want that really hot girl to like them and stuff. So they think to get those things that they have to go out and like torture other people to make them feel bad and just put them through hell. And that's, man, come on, that's bullshit. You don't have to live like that. Look, man, you live in the universe you create. That I fully believe that if you put out a lot of negative energy around you, that's what you're going to get back. I'm trying to put out a positive message right now and saying that America is the most powerful nation on this planet. We, the people of America, are the most powerful, industrious people on the face of the planet, okay? We are the only country that's ever done what we've done in 300 years. In that little bit of time, Now Trump is out there bringing peace to the entire globe. I mean, nobody can shit on that. I'm happy to see that. I'm tired of seeing my brothers and sisters die in wars, But we can't just sit by and not say anything anymore. I know, I get it. We got jobs. There's so many things in daily life that we just can't. It feels like we can't donate the time to it. But really, just by watching this video, you're doing that already. But the other thing is, in our own personal lives, we can choose who's in our lives, and whether we make them feel welcome or not, I've just come up with a policy now to where I don't have, mostly Democrats as a whole, I don't associate with. But who is around us? I mean, if their main function is to try to get attention from us, the best thing to do is to starve them of that attention, right? I don't want to see this country divided. It was divided before I got here. I mean, onto YouTube and all that and started making content. It was divided before, I made my first video. But it got really bad in the last 4 years, and I never want to go through that again. And Democrats are openly out there saying, Jeffries and all them other ones, that when they get back in office, they're going to make us suffer. Okay? Anybody that supported Trump, anybody who didn't support them, because that's the truth of it. It has nothing really to do with Trump. It has to do with who abandoned them when they thought they had that need. Well, we're gonna be made to suffer. He said that. You can go and watch the videos. I mean, if I have to, I can put content up. I mean, and prove everything I'm saying. Trust me, it takes longer to make the video than what I'm doing now. I'm just curious to see if anybody even cares anymore. I mean, we go into video games to escape that stuff, and I don't want to turn this channel into, like I said, one of those channels with news and all that. You know what I wanted to be? I wanted to be a place where we can all go and bullshit. One thing I learned is, the first video I got like a whole bunch of comments on was that the discussion for arc raiders and PvE and PvP. And sure, there was sweaties in there. But for the most part, oh man, the comments. The comments are so great. And I talked to everybody, I think, that commented on that video. Everybody. And to hear, man, it really lifted me up. I mean, I had been living in a dark place. I thought Americans were believing this bullshit, right? You guys weren't. You know, the thing is that you're quiet, you know? Like the hunters in the stands. You know, you're not going to say anything until you're ready to take that deer down. But the problem is that deer's eating our lunch now. You know, the deer's, I mean, killing our families and stuff. And still, we're waiting. I'm not saying to go out there and do anything like shooting anybody. Of course, I would never endorse anything like that, man. I've seen enough bloodshed in my life. I don't ever want to see any more blood. That doesn't mean not to protect yourself viciously, though. You know, if somebody attacks you, learn to defend yourself. Go out there and train in martial arts. You don't have to join the military to learn how to defend yourself. I mean, seriously, there's like 3 punches I could show any one person that would drop anybody of any size if you landed a hit right. I mean, there's also maneuvers that could tie you up into a pretzel. I mean, pain is a great motivator. But like to watch Scoomer, you know, and Jeffries and all these other idiots, and now Mamdani, like, they're being voted in, but who are they being voted in by? That's what I want to know. You know, well, I already know, but I'm open to being convinced otherwise. But it's mainly the illegals, which is why they brought them in here, which is why they paid them. Americans started, I think Americans, us normal everyday Joes, started figuring out something was wrong when they started messing around with our games. You know, they started putting all that sick shit in our games and trying to politicize it and push us in a certain direction. So don't look at me trying to make this channel political. Look at it as me from the game world pushing back into the open world, because they already pushed into our world. They took our escapism away. You know what I mean? They forced us to have to open our eyes, get out of our hobbies, and go, all right, guys. I mean, look what they're doing to Warhammer. They're talking, I mean, they're destroying the lore of that game just to add women into it. Why? I mean, women aren't lowly nobodies. They create life. That's like the greatest magic on the planet. You know what I mean? Like, how, really? Imagine if men could just create life. We'd be making armies, boy. You know what I mean? We'd be conquering nations, right? But no, women, they not all, but a lot of women out there, they regret us. You know, especially like white men. They believe this nonsense from CNN and all these talking hen shows like The View. God, that show. I hate that show. I hate those people. I knew Whoopi Goldberg back in the day was a racist piece of shit, but I didn't really know. No, I know now. That was bad. That was bad. And now look at her. Constantly, again, like I said, these people get up and lie, and then other people believe it. It would be one thing if people, like, were watching it, and they're like, you know what, that's a lie. We know it's a lie. But they don't know it's a lie. That's a problem. And then nobody pushes back. I mean, except for shills who are just trying to get rich off of it. The only thing I want to do is open people's eyes, and if along the way I do a good enough job to where I can upgrade from an Xbox S and a 9-year-old computer and a capture card, you know, to get in a camera and stuff, I'm not scared to put my picture out there, my face. I'm not scared of that at all. I'm not scared to defend myself either, by the way, just to make that clear. I mean, I'm very good at defending myself. But I'm not scared to be seen. I look pretty good, I think, in my own opinion. My confidence level is high. I mean, my feedback that I get from most women is pretty good. I mean, and what's crazy is that I know a lot of you guys, the same thing would be. I talk to a lot of the people that watch my content. I mean, what's it, like 20, sometimes 500, 200, something like that after a few days. I know a lot of those people. A lot of them are Rangers, and they're good guys, man. Even the ones that aren't Rangers. Like, I had this guy telling me the other day, and it really to me showed me how much they've stepped on people. And that's what I want to fight against. I want to remind people where they come from. I had a guy telling me that he didn't feel like he deserved to. I don't know if this mic is like too high, if it's peaking out too hard. I apologize. I'm still working on audio. But he was talking about how he was only in a cavalry unit, a mechanized unit, guys, in the military. So he didn't, you know, he didn't feel like he deserved to be in. I don't know. Like I didn't quite understand that, but like he didn't deserve to be included into, I guess, what he thought was an infantry unit. No, the 75th is for anybody who served. It's for anybody who didn't serve too. It's for anybody who has faith in themselves and confidence and who wants to be there for their fellow man and woman, because we're talking about protecting our families. That's our number one job. But it really got me in my feels, to be honest with you, because I'm like, dude, this guy should have a higher level of confidence in that. You know, this man served our country. Whether he was in an armored vehicle or not, that just makes him a bigger target. When I was in the military, I was taught to stay away from vehicles because they're bullet catchers or bullet sponges. You know what I mean? Sorry, God, I hope I'm not breaking the mic with my coughs. I'm trying to quit smoking, guys. I really am. But right now I'm kind of stressed because I don't know how this is going to go. I mean, I might get a whole lot of hate. I have no idea. What I want to get is a whole lot of conversation. You know, like what's going on right now and how does everybody feel? For one, where are you from? You know, what state in America? Because look, outside of America right now, this is an America thing. Because we have communism, it's trying to take over our country, and we have to decide, being the people, that this country is, you know, the politicians are supposed to answer to. It's being taken over by communists right now. And they're being voted for by illegals who are usually being paid with our own money. That's bullshit, man. I mean, I don't care. I'm disabled, so I guess I can't say my check's going out there for taxes every day. But you know what? I'd stand up for you. You know what I mean? I would stand up and fight them for you, based on you working a fucking 40-hour work week and then having your money taken out and given to illegals. That's insane. That's insane. I mean, I worked my entire life until I was injured. I served, I got out of the military, and then I became a mechanic. I did really good. I was a master mechanic. You know, I studied, I put my nose to the grind. Damn it. And now I guess I'm trying to do the same thing, only on YouTube. And I'm going to cover a lot of different things. And I'd like to do opinion pieces every now and then, which is what this is an opinion piece. And I'd like you guys to comment down there and let me know, like, what's going on in your head right now, watching everything that's going on. And guys, I'm not just talking about the normal people that comment on comment sections, you know, the Democrat weirdos that, you know, they're just, they don't bring no facts at all. I'm not saying to just get on here and just lie wholeheartedly. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I want to know what you think we should do, because I don't understand why Trump hasn't declared an insurrection. You have Brandon Johnson flat out saying that they're going to fight the federal government, okay, just because, you know, Trump, just because there's a Republican in office right now. You have this Mamdani guy saying he's going to steal from white people and give it to everybody else. Like, what the fuck? We're majority white in this country, so that means he's going to steal from America, the majority of Americans. And don't believe for a second it's just going to be white people either. Like, if you're middle class, you're working a hard job, he's going to take from you too. I mean, the idea is just America. Look, they divide us by putting us against each other like that. You know, by saying like, oh, it's a white or black thing, or it's a yellow or whatever skin type thing, okay? Most Americans don't give a shit about that. This isn't the 1900s anymore, you know? And by the way, just to throw a hint out there, the Democrat Party was the party of the KKK, period. So, I mean, I don't... to sit there and trust what they're saying when they were the party that founded and ran, as far as I know to this day, the KKK, to keep trying to shove that on the Republicans and the conservatives mainly, because I like I said, I consider myself a conservative, not really a Republican. Because I watch what Republicans do, which is not a lot. And that's just not me. That's why I'm doing this right now. Right? I'm going to make my regular content. Matter of fact, I'm going to be posting out a video on this right here, Mech Warriors. I mean, I want you guys to have a place to escape, but I also want you to have a place to speak to. And for somebody who's going to really listen to you, and then listen to what you're saying, and then look into it, and then post up a video responding to it, maybe, because that's what I'm going to do. People get big, and then they forget about the people who got them there. That's not me. I mean, anybody that's ever served with me in our community would tell you, man, I'm a go 75th Ranger Regiment guy, you know, 75th Ranger Regiment gaming community, like I am, 100%. I appreciate everything our guys do, and we've gotten a hell of a lot of new members from like Helldivers 2 and stuff like that are just amazing people. I mean, we're so fortunate, really. I mean, the amount of people that we've gotten from this. I would have did this a long time ago if I just would have figured out that we would have gotten this caliber of people. You know, but like I said in the comment section, take the plug out, man. Let me know how you feel about what's going on. I mean, I want to know, am I like alone and thinking that dude, I'd rather die than them give in to this extortion attempt from the Democrat Party. I'd rather die. Let me know how you feel. Am I alone in this? You know what I mean? And I know I don't, look, just to be clear, I don't have the reach that most people do. I know most people on YouTube, once they'll comment. The problem is whether YouTube is going to let their video get out there so that people see it and then they can comment. I mean, there's so many ways they hold you down. I'm also on Rumble, by the way, and I got a pretty good steady amount of people following my content over there. Thank God. Thank you, Rumble. Thank you, guys. All you Rumble people, thank you. And they're allowed to say anything they want, you know, and still they're kind of quiet. I want to hear what you have to say. Where are you from? What are you experiencing? Look, there was just a shootout down the street from my house not that long ago, and I had to do with this stupid, another demon rat out there, you know, causing trouble. They think, let's see what you think, okay? And then I'll talk more about my beliefs and how I live my life and, like, how I think that we can get out of this situation. You know what I mean? It's not going to be something a lot of people are going to be happy about, because look, man, you cannot capitulate to a bully. You cannot bend over to a bully, because once they get that taste that you're just going to keep bending over to them, they're just going to keep inflicting more pain until they really do something bad, you know, until they go too far. And that's where we're at right now. And they've already went too far. When they killed Charlie Kirk, they went too far. All right, but he's not the only one. I mean, hell, I saw a video the other day where I think it was during the BLM riots. And I remember that specifically, but to see it is just a totally different thing. They're like, oh, hey, we got one of them over here, and they're like, what? A Republican? And then you hear 2 shots. They shot that guy just because of his political beliefs, just because he didn't agree with them. And tell me something. Do you think that that's right? You know, just because 2 people disagree, do you really think we can't sit down and come to an agreement? And when we get to the point to where we can't, can we all acknowledge that we have an enemy inside this country that needs to be dealt with before we deal with everybody's enemies outside this country? Right now, we have an enemy inside of our own borders trying to kill us. Okay? No, not trying. They are killing us. People are dying every day. We can get into games to avoid it and not think about it, but the fact is that people are dying every single day. And I just can't be silent about it anymore. And I'm not looking for views. I fully expect this ain't going to go nowhere. Like I said, it gets stepped on all the time. But I need to know from everybody, from all of you, you know, like, where do you stand on this? Am I the only one that's feeling this way, that we have an enemy that's made it? Look, Rome wasn't defeated by outside enemies. It was defeated because the Romans allowed the barbarians in. They made that horrible mistake, the same one that we're making right now, and then Rome fell, okay? Are we doing the same thing? What is our path out? I mean, and don't worry. Look, if you're scared to put your comment on a Rumble on YouTube, I understand that. Find me on Rumble. Same name, Reaper294, or under the 75th Ranger Regiment. I'll probably post this video up on Rumble under my Reaper tag, because I don't want to involve the 75th into this. I mean, they're a good group of guys from every type of background. I get along with everybody. That's the craziest thing. I mean, straight out commies, I don't, because I've seen what communism does. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not about a government control. I'm not for that government control. I'm just not. Now I got to get to making a video. This one right here today, and then I got some Helldivers content that I'm gonna be putting up, and some other video games I want to show you guys and maybe get you guys into, and then maybe we can. That's another thing. If you want to run with me in games and stuff like that, look, bro. My gamer tags on everything. YouTube. It's on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook. All my gamer tags are under Rupert294, and I will never change it. It's always going to be that way. Feel free to message me. I'd rather you do it through comments so I can see what's going on, and it'll get my video out there so we can hear what's going on. I mean, because all I keep on hearing is these polls, which we're winning, by the way. I would say us as being Americans. You know, but is it mainly illegals that are voting it? I think it is. Gavin got really scared, dude, when they were talking about doing that Prop 50 and everything. About ending it, I'm sorry. About, you know, he's really desperate to get it in there. And then when they found out that all these illegals are coming from, they're coming from California with these fake CDLs. Well, they're real. They're given to them. You know, see, this is what happens when you have states that are not following the federal agenda. You know what I mean? So somebody could get a CDL from California, and of course they got to drive across the nation. So in Philadelphia, where it's a tight city, you guys know. Anybody from Philadelphia tell you that it's a very tight city. They get into a situation they can't handle, and they kill a whole bunch of people because they can't read one damn sign in English. You know, they can't speak a lick English, so you know they can't read it. And yet this new scum gives them a license, a CDL. That's insane. That is insane to give somebody a CDL who cannot read English. They don't do that in other countries. Well, I think they're probably doing it in Britain now. I don't know. But you can look to Britain and see what our future is if we don't stand up. And I'm not even saying, like, I'm saying stand up and let your voice be heard, man. I mean, look, our nation is only as good as it is because of people like us, you know? And we've sat here quietly, especially Gen X. We've sat here quietly, haven't we? We've let all the other people argue and bicker over this shit, and we've not said nothing. Well, that ends now. And I need your help to end it, you know? Because I think a lot of people are scared to speak up right now. You should be speaking up. You should be letting the world know where you stand at, because then they can't go out and use our names. I hate it when Democrats do that. Oh, you're doing it for the American people. I feel like saying, get my fucking name out your mouth. You know, like, what are you doing? Get my name out of your mouth. I know what you're doing, bro. I've looked into it. I know who you're worried about funding and who you're worried about starving or not. If you were worried about the American people starving, you wouldn't be shutting the fucking government down, would you? No, you wouldn't. So, I mean, I don't know who is dumb enough to believe for 1 second them voting to keep the government shut down. Oh, but to get universal health care. We were damn near close to that anyway. People could go to the hospital. Legals could too. And that needed to end. We are not filthy rich as a country. We are filthy in debt. $37 trillion and counting. You know what I mean? And the only thing that I can see Republicans wanted to do, from what I'm looking at and I've seen, is they just put out a continuing resolution or saying let's debate it later on, but keep the government open. And what the Democrats do? Nope, no, thank you, bro. Not doing that. It's like, okay, I know how you are. I see how you are. You don't have to tell me how you are. Your actions speak louder than your words. And I cannot stand freaking liars, guys. I cannot stand liars. So. Alright, well, anyway, like I said, I'm really interested to read the comments and see what you guys say. And it's not because of bumping the video up. I mean, yeah, I'd like my message to get out there, but if it doesn't, it doesn't. I would like to hear what you have to say, though. Like, do you feel the way I feel? Am I alone in this? You know, that I feel like we're being shit on. We're always the ones getting shit on. You know what I mean? While people in leadership are always the ones with security and all that. I mean, they're so happy to say, oh, well, schools shouldn't have armed guards or armed security there. Well, banks do. You know, you ain't got a problem with that, do you? But you got a problem with us protecting our kids, right, from maniacs. I can barely get it out of my head to picture that Corella fool stabbing that other boy in the chest. Or how about that lady from Ukraine that got stabbed in the neck? I mean, and then I think about the people I love, right? And that's why I think that there's a lot more of me than there are of these lunatics on the left. And I think it's time that you guys stood up and talked. You know, let your voices be heard. Stop worrying about their opinions, because their opinions mean nothing. They shouldn't mean nothing. You know what I mean? Because all they've done is destroy this nation. I mean, they spent, 60 years telling you that you couldn't have pride in your heritage because you're white. That's the only reason. That's bullshit. And you know it, and I know it. The big difference is that everybody else is screaming from the mountaintops, all their insane lunatic garble, and we've just kept quiet in the background. I'm saying that ends now. Help me say that loud. You know, let people hear you say it. I'm not going to sit back and just go along to get along anymore. Like, that's enough. You guys have done enough. It's time to get back to being for us, for Americans. You know, I mean, when I was working my whole life, I didn't care that I was helping Americans. Disabled, veterans, disabled, whatever. Because people were tested back when I originally was, over 10 years ago, when I was put on disability. I had to prove it. I had to get doctors, I had to get x-rays. I mean, it was crazy. It took 2 years of me suffering before I got any kind of help. And then after that, I just thank God. I got my hands and knees and I thank God, because I never thought I'd get the help that I got. But then the American people, I own a home, guys. I own a house. Because I spend my money properly. You know, I don't just go out and waste my money on drugs. I don't go out and waste. I mean, I'm using the Xbox S. Let that sink in. You know what I mean? I don't do any of that shit. You know what I do? I keep my head to the grindstone. I put my dollars where it goes to where it's most effective for what I get. And then I don't bitch a lot. But now I am. Now I'm speaking up. And I hope that you guys stand behind me with this. Because, you know, it really does matter to me now. I'm watching this country fall apart. I mean, I watched a Democrat say the other day that Deus Vult, oh, that's a Nazi propaganda, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. Deus Vult does not mean, sorry, my controller died. Deus Vult has nothing to do with Nazis, man. These people are psychos, man. They've demonized Christianity so bad that any kind of cross is like, they're like, oh, that's Nazi propaganda. Man, shut up. No, it's not. I mean, crosses were around before Jesus was crucified. You freaking idiots. You know what I mean? Like, no. Oh, my Lord. Deus Vult means God wills it. Sua sponte means by and of your accord. You know, like, you did it off the sweat of your back. I like those sayings. I think they stand firmly for who I am and what I stand for, you know, and I think it stands for a lot of people I know too. I mean, why have they demonized Christianity so bad to where now a paladin in a game like Baldur's Gate, he's not about God anymore. That's what paladins were. They were like Crusader Knights. You can't even find one of them anymore. They will not put them in a game. Why? You know, because they hate God. They want us all to suffer. You know, like horribly. They don't want you to have any faith except for in the government and in them. Now, I really hope that you guys, I guess we'll find out if you like it or not. I try to figure out a thumbnail and a title for the video to put up there. I don't want to be, I want you to know what I'm trying to do here. I want to hear your opinions on it, you know what I mean? Like, am I alone? Because sometimes I feel alone, you know? Like, I'll be hanging out with my buddies and, you know, a lot of them think like I do, but some of them don't, you know? And then I wonder, is this just me inside a small echo chamber? Or, I mean, are Americans out there like me who mainly were in video games, you know, trying to not focus on the horrors of our lives or the things that we've been through, you know? And now we're back. I mean, are you guys out there? Tell me where you're from and what your thoughts on the Democrat shutdown right now. I mean, whose fault is it? Does it matter whose fault it is, really, at the end of the day? I mean, because, really, the fight's between illegals and American citizens, and I don't think that fight needs to be had. You know? Of course, it should always be for the citizens. It's their money. It's their money. And I would rather see that money go back to them before I would see it fill the belly of some ungrateful asshole that doesn't care one lick about what our ancestors went through, who have stepped on our ancestry for their ancestry. No thank you, sir. No thank you. And again, it's just an opinion piece of me talking shit. I guess I'm getting a little brave, or I just don't care. I mean, I'm to the point that I just don't care. You know, I want us to go back to the way it was before, when we were excited. I remember going to video game lines and being so excited to play these video games and being so thankful that I had a life that I could enjoy them. Now every day I'm worried, you know, that an actual Nazi, an actual communist is going to get into power, and that's when the hell starts. And what we can do to stop it, you know? I mean, for one, definitely voices raised. That's the easiest thing we can do. And then the other, why don't Americans protest? I mean, I know that a lot of people are arrested, but we got to sacrifice for what we have in this country. We have it pretty good. I mean, like I said, Democrats try to deny it, but they had almost universal health care once. I mean, I'm living proof of that in a way. I mean, I am my life, and you know, after I was injured and I lost the ability, well, I lost abilities, you know, I didn't end up on the street begging for alms, you know. And thank you, by the way, like, to every American that comes by this video. I don't care where you come from, well, yeah, I mean, I'm talking about actual Americans with forefathers here, because that does matter, because usually illegals, they don't pay taxes. But all of you out there that kept working and pushing and pushing and pushing no matter what, even though you knew that, like, what is it, 42 million Americans depend on SNAP. And a lot of them aren't disabled, by the way. A lot of them are just people that won't get married and live off the government. But, you know, without that program, like I said, I wouldn't be here. So I owe it to all of you that kill yourselves every day. So thank you. I mean, from my heart, thank you for having my back when I needed you, you know. I mean, I don't get emotional over a lot of things, but I feel a bit emotional about this because I want to do this for you, you know, because I wouldn't have nothing without you, you know, and I don't want to watch this country burn over it. So anyway, all right, well, the guys are getting loaded up for us to do our next run, and I've already been talking for an hour. I'm sorry, man. I have to know. You know, I want to hear from you guys. Like, what are your feelings on this? You know, where do you stand? All right, so sponte, Deus, Volt.